Yes, sir. Punchin In podcast. Back at it once again. Giving you a third episode. Um, you already know, man. It's been a little minute, since the second episode, but had a little lapse in judgment of what was going on. Situations, certain situations outside of this, inside of this. Just a whole bunch of things that you have to figure out. But right now, I'm about to give y'all the scoop on what's going on in the MMA world and everything like that. Combat sports, shall I say, because there's been a lot of stuff in boxing as well that's been going on. Um, we just closed out on a hell of a year, 2023. Um, you know, a major year, shall I say. A bunch of stuff in the docket to figure out. Many fights, many a slew of fights. I think this probably honestly this year might be one of the best years that we had when it comes to this UFC overall. I mean, there was a lot of good fights. There was a lot of good ones, a lot of memorable ones. At least the top five that I got in the back of my mind. There's come on, I was saying Volkachev. Nigga said Volkachev, Volkanovski, and Makachev for sure. Um, Kai Kara France and Amir Albazi, which was a fight night, underrated one. Come on, Adesanya and Pereira too. That was just, I don't know. There's a story in itself. The whole trilogy. The whole rivalry between them two and everything. It was just, you know. But that fight, I don't know. It's just something about it. From the theatrics after the finish. And I'm an Izzy fan. Not to come off biased, but Pereira did look like he was about to make a repeat of what happened in the first joint, but Izzy faced that adversity and he fucking clipped him with that left. That oh my god, that shit was crazy. But that Poirier and Gaethje too, when Poirier in their first round matchup, Poirier whooped Gaethje's ass with the hands, so it was crazy. And then Gaethje, the second one, he just straight up shut the whole shit down and just with a straight head kick knockout. It's fucking ridiculous. And then you got Usman Edwards 3. Come on. Usman trying to get vibes for that title for the third time, trying to get back where he lost, and Leon finally stepping into the prime of his champion of his championship. It's not even his championship, but stepping in the prime of his actual self. He's now found himself now that he's the champion, and now he can kind of perform with a certain bravado that he kind of didn't have in their first matchup. And then in the second matchup, to catch that kick after the end, after he was losing that fight for a majority of that fight into the head kick, it was like, just like I said, that's another one that you could say just like Pereira and Adesanya. It's a story within itself. Damn, as far as other things for the year 2023, got the fighter of the year. It's kind of hard for me to kind of base it just one person. But I got like at least I got a good 6 fighters that I got up there. I got Islam Makhachev up there, just for the first matchup with both. Although it was a close fight, he still won. And he still, won certain rounds definitively. But then you got the second one where he straight up put his lights out like it was nothing. I'll also say Volkanovski though, in a sense of that too, and I'll add it to that list because you got him that he was able to defend his title in the same year that he was able to step up. And surely he was unsuccessful in those runs, but still he stepped up. So looking in the year, he's what 2-1, I believe. I know, I think 1 or 2. But what he did to Yair Rodriguez was nonetheless, and Yair was looking like a world beater before he even got to that title match. So I don't know. You got Alex fucking Pereira, who you gotta put up there. I mean, come on, it's clear. Um, for him to be a middleweight champ, start up the year as a middleweight champion, and then turn around and become the light heavyweight champion before the year capped off, and one of the best UFC cards, probably one of the best UFC cards of the year in 295. I mean, come on, Nick. That's kind of, I'm not even sure if that's been done before. I could be off. I'm not sure if that's been done before. We got Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland, who was fucking active this year. I mean, that he started off. He was the first fight of the year. He was. And look at the irony of that, because he's the first fight of last year in a fight night against Macedine Imavov, who he beat the shit out of, and then you got him going against fucking Dricus Duplessis for you got Dricus Duplessis, who he's going against in 297, and he's the first pay-per-view of the year as the middleweight champion. That's the trajectory. The trajectory in that is just fucking, come on. Leon, you could say Leon. I mean, beating both of the top, beating both of the top two, like the top two welterweights of the division, in between Usman and Kobe Covington. He's basically shut them niggas out, and now it's time for him to go amongst some new challengers. I have him up there as well. And then you gotta add Aaron Blanchfield. Or if you're gonna mention any female of this year, it's gonna have to be Aaron Blanchfield, who's been packing bitches up left and right. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But I'll say, other notable mentions though that you got to go through for the year 2023 was also Merab Dvalishvili dominating Peter Yan the way he did, which is, I didn't see it. I thought that was gonna at least be a eventful matchup, but Merab was too much for Yan. Corey Sandhagen debuting a whole new wrestling style. It was just out of the fucking blue. You got Bobby Green stopping. Bobby Green. You can also say him stopping Grant Dawson, but you could also just say his overall year that he had. Bobby Green had a hell of a year. He was up there as fuck. Active, Fazeev. Who else? Fucking Grant Dawson. Jalen Turner, yeah, but you know how that went, but still. Another thing you gotta mention was Khalil Roundtree stopping Anthony Smith, which is now putting Roundtree in another upper echelon of contenders now, which I've been waiting for him to get up there, because Khalil Roundtree is a fucking dog. When he's poised and he's focused, and he's just focused on hurting niggas. He's a monster. I mean, his defensively, he's still something he might have to work against, because came to niggas like Johnny Walker and Ankalaev, they got past him. But, they get past him, but maybe it's now his time to be able to get up to where they're at, and maybe niggas could run it back this year. He's a good fighter. He's definitely a hell of a fighter. Definitely cannot go throughout. Can't go without talking about last year without mentioning Max fucking Holloway and the run that he fucking had. Straight up. Because although it was two fights that he had, it's just how he overall looked. And still at 145, he still looks like the king, man. He still looks like one of the kings at 145, man. You guys say what? The win against Arnold Allen, which was a hell of a fucking fight, eventful, back and forth. I mean, he was a little ahead of most, but Arnold Allen was right there. The gap was slight, and then around that fourth when Arnold started to slow up. And he was still, which is Max's gas tank is he's fucking ridiculous. It's just not his levels to it though. He's shown that for like when it goes down, he's a Hall of Famer just from his sheer performance in the fucking octagon like throughout his tenure in the UFC. That fifth before the whole fight ended, he cracked the shit out of Allen. It just shows you, man, he's still there. I don't know how I don't know what his future looks like, but that's something we can talk about later. And then you can also talk about him stopping Korean Zombie and him making Korean Zombie put the gloves down, which is holy shit. And nobody even seen that coming. And he stopped him. And he was really fighting, really trying to fight for him. Oh shit, we can't. Even though it's on this card, definitely had to talk about fucking the Bryce Mitchell knockout. He got put bad. So it's like you can't really even. I mean, I don't know, man. That was literally probably one of the worst knockouts I've seen in a long time. But I mean, everybody knows how UFC 296 ended off. You can recap it. I'll recap it for y'all. Just for those who even missed it. There's anybody that didn't miss it. But in the prelims, they had Ariane Lipski going against Casey O'Neill, which was pretty much. I'm not going to say a domination, but it kind of was a domination. Lipski with the kickboxing, the Muay Thai, she's on the feet. She's too much for a lot of bitches. She's fast, and then when it comes to grappling, bitches really don't want to grapple her. And Casey O'Neill, she's a upcoming prospect, and she's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong, but I felt like this fight was literally a bad idea for her to take, because when it got to grappling, Lipski put her out with the armbar. Yeah. So you got Cody Garbrandt who faced Brian Kelleher, but that was a fast knockout. He put him out, typical Cody fashion. And I was kind of sad for Kelleher because he's good. He's a good fighter too. I want to see him get to the next level. But damn, like Cody still got that hand. At 135, man. I don't know. You got a women's bantamweight, Renee Aldana versus Carl Rosa, which was a fucking slugfest. Y'all have to see it for me to even really, but it was just a complete back and forth. Probably one of the best fights on this card. Irene Aldana with the W, and then Alonzo Menifield and Dustin Jacoby, which was, I think, definitely a bar burner. Jacoby was fighting, but Menifield, the sheer power of Menifield, he was getting through him. Dustin Jacoby is good though when it comes to his kick game and keeping the distance and chopping the leg, compromising the leg. He's good, but it just Menifield is like a fucking tank in there, man. I don't know. That's the prelim card, and you got the main card, and you got starting off with on this card they had Vicente Luque and Ian Gary, which was going to be a hell of a fight, but that got canceled. They got Josh Emmett going against fucking Bryce Mitchell, but you already know how that went. Ain't really nothing to explain about that one. Tony Ferguson and Paddy Pimblett, good fight. Tony still like he still shows his toughness and spirits, but Patty is supposed to put him out. He had a tough time with doing that. Um, Shavkat Rachmanov and Stephen Thompson. Hell of a fight, but we know how that goes. Um, Rachmanov, like I said, I had it for going in that Rachmanov was going to get a finish on Wonderboy. I like Wonderboy, but the numbers don't lie. Rachmanov isn't putting anybody that he's been in there with out. Whether he's been knocking them out, submitting them. That kind of wrote itself. Pantoja, Royval, hell of a fight. Pantoja definitely found found a W. As crazy as it is. I thought Royval was gonna win. I thought Royval was gonna, pull something crazy out of his ass, but I don't know. Pause. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But then again, you look at it. Pantoja just not getting the belt, and his life story of him just not having nothing and wanting to make his dad proud and everything. It's like, damn, it's kind of hard to say anything gonna take it. It's hard to see if anybody's gonna take that from that man. He's gonna hold that championship for a little minute the way he fought. And then you got the main event, Leon Edwards, Cody Covington. Leon did what he was supposed to do, straight up. It's just what it comes down to. They also had this Days of Reckoning boxing event that just happened. Like, it was like what, the 20? It was like the 27th or something like that. It was something that was before the end of the year. It was in the middle of like Christmas, between the Christmas and New Year's kind of thing. And there was a bunch of people on that card. But Deontay was on that card. Deontay WIlder. He was going against Joseph Parker, and he didn't get knocked out, but he got dominated damn near. Like, once Parker found his flow and his rhythm, it looked like it was hard for Wilder to be able to get into in the correct pockets the way he was supposed to do for and it's like, damn, I don't know, son. What's gonna happen for Deontay for real? That it's like, is he gonna? Does he need to change his camp? Does he need to change his trainer? I don't know what the fuck it is. But it looked like at one point, it looked like once he was getting it better, it just looked like he was just not there. Like he didn't want to be there. He was just ready for the fight to end. And when the fighter starts looking like that, it's probably like, probably likely like we looking at the end of their career. And not to say, the whole Wilder and Joshua matchup is off, but it's kind of off now. And if I'm Joshua, if I'm Anthony Joshua, I'm trying to press for that fight. But let's be realistic. He's not gonna want to take that. Wilder is not gonna want to take that if Joshua's still going up, and then he's gradually losing love for the fight game. He's gonna just go out there, take a check to get knocked the fuck out. Because Joshua's not gonna play with him. I think Peter Bev and Smith, Callum Smith, that just happened, and I mean, come on, everybody. Some of these fights kind of they explain themselves without really explaining themselves. Then you look at it, Peter Bev he already his career is just straight stops. He straight stops niggas. He's not one nigga went to the belt with him. What niggas think that was going? What were niggas thinking when they put him in there with Callum Smith? Not to disrespect Callum Smith because he's a hell of a boxer, but like the numbers don't lie. I said this shit like that a couple of minutes ago. Peter Bev put him out in the 7th round. There's nothing. Callum did look good. He looked good in the first. Not gonna lie, the first 2 rounds he did look decent. But once the third started, once Peter Bear started to really pick shit up, started to hit him with that double jab, and he has a stiff jab. It's not like a. It's, it looks light, but it's a stiff jab. Pause. It's ridiculous. Um, he started to hurt this guy. And that shit was over. It really was nothing that he could do. And Callum Smith ended up getting put. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. Um, there's a lot of things to look forward to next year, though. A lot of things. You got 297 that's coming up. You got all the way up to 300 because they're already not making announcements for 297. I mean, no, for 298 is already that card is already damn near done. 299, they still making announcements for 300. So they got a lot of good matchups coming out from the top. I'm not gonna expose them all because when they come, they'll come. But something I can think of is that at least my son Jim Miller is getting a fight at UFC 300. I respect that. I respect Dana for keeping his word with that. I was gonna be mad if he didn't, and especially with a nigga like Bobby Green. That's gonna be a fucking scrap. You got what? You got Strickland dude. Strickland, this nigga coming up too. You got they just announced Gaethje and Holloway, and then for UFC 300, and damn, what else is? Because there's a couple of matches on here that you could ever see. I had to go back into my mental Rolodex for music, but it's just they've been announcing so many that it's hard to keep up with like that. But yeah. Also next week or this past week they just had Ankalaev and Johnny Walker 2, which was that needed to happen. That definitely needed to happen because at the end of the day, the way that first fight went, there was some weird shit going on, and it kind of ruined it. It threw off the vibe of the pay per view low key. It kind of did, but they was able to get it back, and I'll run that card down for y'all. It wasn't really too bad. It was decent. It was a decent card for a way to start off the year. So they had Joshua Van going against Felipe Bunez, and Joshua Van nasty as ever with the flyweight, nasty as ever with the boxing. He's solid. I see him getting up to the top 15 soon. Nicholas Malta against Tom Nolan, and Nicholas Malta caught the fucking knockout on Tom Nolan like no other. He stopped him. Joan Silva versus Weston Wilson, who's what's this dude's name? Fucking Ray Thompson, who's Stephen Thompson's father. That's his student, and Gene Silva knocked him the fuck out. He wasn't playing with that guy. He knocked him out early. And you had Farid Basharat going against Taylor Lapalus. There's that French cat. He's a decent fighter, hell of a grappler. Farid, he kind of turned the fight around in the second. Lapalus was all over him in the first though. He was clearly making this a shutout, and then I guess Basharat fucking woke up in the second, and the third it was a shutout. Marcus McGee, the maniac. Remember that name, because he's going to the moon one day. Promise niggas. His power at fucking 135, he's putting niggas out of here. He's gonna go somewhere. He knocked the shit out of Gaston Bolaños like it was nothing. You can even next. And then in the main event of the prelims card, you had Preston Parsons, who defeated Matthew Semmelsberger. Semmelsberger is a good fighter, super well-rounded good grappling, good good technique on the feet. He tends to keep people at bay with teep kicks and body kicks. He's more of a more time on the feet kind of guy. So he throws a lot of kicks and stuff. I like his style. He has a good style. But Preston Parsons was fucking. He's too much for him. His leg kick heavy offense, chopping his legs, digging for the takedown, pushing him against the cage, constant. He kicked his ass. It was kind of revealed, not even really revealing, but it kind of was new to see. I've never seen someone's brother get dominated like that. Main card. All right, this is a hell of a card. I stayed up to like 6 o'clock watching this shit. I'm not going 6 o'clock a.m. watching this shit. It shows how dedicated I am. You got Andre Arlovski going against Waldo Acosta Cortez, and that was a hell of a fight. It seemed like Andre was kind of like trying to scared to fully engage with him. But Waldo, he kept pressuring. He just pressured the shit out of Andre, and especially when one thing I will say though, Andre, 20 years in the game, or 23 years in the game, it's you got to give it up for him. He's a veteran, and his defense when Waldo was haymaker heavy, he was kind of evasive. Like, it was amazing to see. I was like, damn. If it was Andre a couple of years ago, he might have got knocked out. But dumb niggas don't like each other though. There's something between them two that even after the fight, that nigga was still talking shit. So I definitely see them running that fight back one day. You got Bruno Ferreira versus Phil Hawes, man. Phil Hawes with another KO. Getting another KO, getting knocked the fuck out again. Because I'm not really familiar with Bruno's game like that, but I am familiar with Phil Hawes. And Phil Hawes got knocked out once again, and this is his third time getting knocked out. He might be getting scissors real quick. He might be getting sliced out. You got you don't have to skip past that one. You got Ricky Simone versus Mario Bautista. Fucking might be fighting tonight. Might be, because that was a hell of a fight. Ricky Simone was on it. Ricky Simone is fast as shit. There's one thing I didn't remember, but he's fast as hell. But Bautista, amazing boxing, amazing ripping to the body. You know, just straight leg kicks, whatever. He was. From what I remember, Ricky Simone was kind of, setting the pace in the first, and it seemed like once Bautista had him filled out by the end of the first, and he was able to start countering some of the shit that he was doing, it didn't seem like there was nothing that he could do with him. And then once it got to the round, it was like, yeah, surely it got back up, but Bautista was too much, man. After that, you got what? Come on, the legend A10, Jim Miller catching the submission win on fucking on Gabriel Benitez. I mean, come on, it goes without saying that. It goes without saying. Just saying. And I'm glad, like I said once again, I'm glad to see that he's able to get booked at 300. He deserves it. I don't know if he'll I'm not sure if he'll put it down on the line, or put the gloves down, but I'll respect it if he does though. And then you got in the main event, Magomed Ankalaev against Johnny Walker, and how the first fight went, he solidified in the second with a knockout. He stopped him, punches, short, fast. Second round, and the fight only really was 7 minutes, and I'm like Johnny Walker, man, but when he gets to when it's time for him to get to the upper echelon of niggas to fight, he gets put, and it's like, what the fuck? I don't know. That's it. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just something niggas will have to see. So they're looking like after 297 on February 3rd, we got Roman Dolidze going against Nasruddin Imavov, which is I like that fight. That's not a bad fight. I have to see how that one goes. Middleweight contention. You know, we got Hermanson versus Joe Pyfer. Like Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer's alright. It's Bo Nickel I don't really care for, but Joe Pyfer's alright. Once Joe Pyfer's able to get through fucking Hermanson, and after that we got 298 Volkanovski and Topuria. And I know a lot of people are talking about whether it's too early for him to fight or not to get knocked out like that. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But let's be realistic. The kind of fighter that he is, he's an active fighter. So whether he gets knocked out, he's gonna want to get right back in there again. Right back in there again. You gotta remember, we only got this short window of fighting. It ain't that long of a span that we can go. And he started late, so gotta remember that shit. I mean, other than that, ain't really nothing else to really cover, man. It's been Punching In, episode 3. I appreciate y'all checking out.